Good afternoon, everyone. This is Dr. Sam McGinnis.
And this is Dr. Michael McGinnis.
And we're the Irish Docs. And like always, this is a question and answer. So if you guys have questions, we would love to give you answers. If you're watching this video after the fact and you have questions, we can still answer them if you leave a comment in the comment section. And then we will look back and answer those.
That's right.
Just like
we'll
other
get back
people,
at that.
Just like other people.
We'll get back to you.
Dr. Michael, I want to talk a little bit about giveaways.
That's right. We got giveaways. We got Autumn Murphy. Nice to see you. Thanks for jumping on.
Thanks, Autumn.
We're going to be talking about giveaways. We're going to be talking about the talk.
The talk?
The talk.
On the 19th,
That's right.
the Wellness Ways approach to mental health.
That's
Dr.
right.
Michael McGinnis has got some fantastic information.
I've been prepping all week, ladies and gentlemen. I am ready to go. If you are ready to go, you got to come and be a part of this. It's going to be
great.
It's going to be a great time. Colleen, nice to see you. Great conversation. So that's going to be 6:30.
Yes, the 6:30. So not only is there giveaways at the actual talk, but this Friday,
that's right,
there's going to be literally
hundreds of dollars of giveaways.
That's right. We timed it perfectly. And that how you enter into those giveaways starts even today.
That's right.
All throughout this week, you leave green hearts in the description. You'll be entered into the giveaway for
each day.
Each day. I was going to say,
right,
for each day that you tune in and watch us and put green hearts in the description, you'll be entered in again.
Right.
So you have
the potential of being in there 5 times.
Four times, actually. Because Thursday we don't.
Oh yeah, I suppose Friday we would. Friday, yeah, sorry. Yeah. Friday doesn't count. So 4 days, yeah, you're right. I guess we're not counting Friday, right? Because we're drawing Friday, so we can't be counting hearts on Fridays.
Well, and we have the
and Thursday.
Thursday we don't. I think I was going to count Friday.
Okay. Oh, Thursday.
Thursday.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not tracking.
Well,
now we're in sync.
You have 4 opportunities to be inside that drawing.
That's right.
For hundreds of dollars.
That's today, tomorrow, Wednesday, and Friday.
And we're going to be drawing. We're going to be drawing at least 2 different prizes.
That's right. There's going to be a Wellness Way themed gift basket of sorts
and a functional movement themed basket gift of sorts. So
it's going to be a pretty big deal. So you're going to want to be tuning in, especially Friday, but really you're going to want to be tuning in all week in advance for those killer giveaways, because it is April, which is the month of
kindness and giveaways.
That is right.
And you do not have to just enter that green heart when we're streaming live. You can enter that anytime you watch this video.
So if you're kind of a sneaky little person and you jump in on Wednesday, you can go back and watch Tuesday's video and Monday's video, slap those green hearts in there.
Absolutely.
You'll get your name in there.
We'll do the honor system. Do the honor system on that. All right. So we got to talk about mental health today. We got to talk about depression.
That's right. Which is going to be one of the key aspects amongst many aspects of our talk this Monday. I'm just going to take a quick plug for this quick, Dr. Samuel, is that this upcoming Monday, 6:30 here at McGinnis Chiropractic Clinic, also streaming on Facebook and YouTube live, we're going to be having a talk on mental health and the Wellness Way approach to said problems. So,
that's right.
Would love to have you tune in. If you are not interested in the subject but know of someone who might be, please throw them in the comments so that they can get this information and be able to connect to that information.
So I've got a gut feeling, that there's going to be some talk about the gut.
There's definitely going to be some talk about the gut, for sure. But we're going to be talking a lot about the brain, neurotransmitters, hormones. It's going to be a good talk. It's going to be very, very informative. So,
speaking of depression,
yeah,
because you mentioned that.
That's right. We're going to be talking a little bit about that today. So, to jump right into that, thank you for that segue.
That was the worst segue of all time.
So, depression.
Speaking of random topic.
That's right. Yeah. So, even though we like to kind of be lighthearted about most of our talks, this is quite a serious thing. Yes. There are many, many, many people who are suffering from mental illness, mental disorders, and it's oftentimes thrown under the carpet because it's not treated the same as a more physical ailment that we can see and touch. Much like, and I think it's kind of funny because when we think about things like if someone came into your office and they were missing a limb, you wouldn't be like, well, you just got to change your frame of mind and you'd be able to handle this a lot better. We treat it a lot different. Okay?
Are you sure your limb's missing?
Sure? Yeah, exactly.
Are you sure your limb's missing? Yeah. Maybe you're just imagining your limbs missing. Yeah.
And this is obviously where we run into a lot of problems, and a lot of times where oftentimes there's a major missing of the 8 ball, if you will, of the proper diagnostic testing and figuring out where root causes are that can lead to mental disorders, and that it's not all just in your head. Okay. Now, One of the key things with mental disorders, and we're going to talk a lot about depression, so I'm going to focus on depression here just a little bit. One of the key factors when it comes to depression is this hormone called serotonin. This is one of the biggest players when it comes to checking depression. Now, here's the interesting thing. If you are watching this and you have been diagnosed with depression, I would be willing to bet that they probably didn't run any lab work on you at all. Most people, now you may be an exception to the rule, and if you are, well, it's good. I'm glad that your doctors are being thorough. But most of the time, people are coming into an office and simply are saying that they're depressed and then are given an antidepressant. Okay, or they're just filling out a questionnaire.
I was going to say it seems a lot easier than filling out a questionnaire or actually, running a lab. It's just to hand out an antidepressant.
Unfortunately, this is oftentimes the case. Oftentimes they're given, in my opinion, very weak diagnoses, such as like fibromyalgia. Dr. Sam and I talked about this quite a bit in a different video. I'm talking about some of these diagnoses that are very, very broad, and basically are so broad and watered down that they virtually mean nothing. We talked about a little bit like irritable bowel syndrome and what that means, and virtually it's a throwaway diagnosis. Same thing goes for fibromyalgia or chronic fatigue syndrome. A lot of these diseases, I say in quotation marks, or diagnoses, are kind of throwaway diagnoses, as I like to call them, because they're so broad they virtually tell you nothing. Okay, nothing that the patient could have told you, themselves. So the main thing is that we got to figure out, okay, how does serotonin play a role in depression? Well, one of the things that you have to understand of how they treat, you kind of take a step back, how oftentimes depression is treated is with a serotonin reuptake inhibitor, okay? And that's what most antidepressants are, the large majority, they're called SSRIs, okay? Now, what that ends up doing is all that does is, in this I'm not going to get into the detail. You're going to have to go to the talk for the detail. But the point is basically in that process, how it affects the nerves, okay, is that it basically prolongs serotonin's effect so that it can improve mood. Now, the interesting thing with that is with any medication, it cannot be isolated to affect one system. We talk about this all the time with the Swiss watch principle, how every organ system is connected, which is why when we see dysfunction in one organ system, we have to look at the other organ systems to make sure that they're not the actual root cause that's contributing. And the same thing when it comes to medications. If you throw a medication at one organ system, it is going to affect all the other gears, because we can't isolate a medication to one effect. It's going to affect, and that's where negative side effects come from.
And I was just going to say, and that's where you have your whole concept of side effects. And some medications are actually were intended for certain purposes, but the side effect, they actually use the medication for the side effect. And you wonder where all these side effects come from. You're right. It's because they affect multiple systems and they have multiple outcomes. And that's where the variables come in when you have multiple medications that are interacting with each other and those organ systems, and it's just next to impossible to predict exactly what can happen from that. So.
Right. So this is why it's so very important to understand. Okay, so now we understand that serotonin. We got the serotonin re-intake, right? So we got this prolonged serotonin. Now, mind you, and a lot of people know this already, that a side effect of an antidepressant is depression. So you can have or what they'll call another form or a different cause of depression. So you might lose your current cause of depression and acquire a different cause of depression, which in itself is kind of mind-boggling. But the point is obviously that's not the solution. We obviously don't want to go there. Now, obviously, here's another thing I'm going to throw out there. It is a very, very risky and frankly dangerous thing, as many understand, to get off a antidepressive medication quickly. So it's very, very important to be. It's very delicate thing. So this is a very, very important process. Very much.
Yeah, and so you're right. You can't just jump off of it. So
we're going to be talking a little bit more about that during the talk as well. But here's where we make the connection. Here we go. So, if we understand that serotonin plays a huge role in how depression works and how it affects depression, how depression can be a result of serotonin function in the body or communication within the body, it's probably a better way of saying it, wouldn't it be good to know where serotonin comes from?
You know what, Dr. Mike? I had this weird question that popped in my head. Where does serotonin come from?
It comes from your GI system.
What?
Yeah. So, here's the interesting thing. Do you know what percent of serotonin is actually in the brain?
Let me guess. Is it Less than 5%.
It is. 1 to 2% of serotonin actually comes from the brain or the spinal cord. And actually the other percent, which is going to make up about 10%, is not in the gut. And the other about 8% is actually in motion. It's in the bloodstream. It's in the platelets. It's in different aspects of the circulatory system. Okay, 90% of your serotonin is in your GI system. So just making that connection alone, would you think that perhaps, possibly, GI function plays a huge role in serotonin production and regulation and how that affects the brain? More importantly, I also want you to make this connection. Do you know Dr. Sam and I talked about, when we talked about parasympathetic, we talked a lot about the vagus nerve. There's this large highway, nerve that runs down and connects the enteric or that GI nervous system to the brain. Do you know how many nerves come back up and communicate to the brain from the gut? Over 10,000. They're countless, thousands of thousands,
Yes.
One big highway going down, thousands of little highways coming back, Because this is that communication system of that feedback. It's constantly giving feedback. So if you think that your GI is not going to affect your brain chemistry, especially serotonin, you're going to want to show up to the talk on Monday. And that is all I'm saying. I'm done. Dr. Michael out. That's it. So very, very important.
And it's more than just serotonin. So serotonin, that's considered a neurotransmitter, correct?
Yeah. Which is virtually just a brain hormone, as I like to say.
And there's obviously we know that there's more than just one brain hormone.
I'm just touching on one, and we're going to go in a lot more detail in the talk. I'm just scratching the surface today.
There's so much information. We're going to be talking about this all week long. We're actually running out of time for today, but keep in mind, guys, we do have our giveaway this Friday. You are being entered into the pool for that today.
All you got to do is leave a green heart in the comment section or hashtag Irish Docs,
and you'll be entered in. You have the opportunity to be entered in 4 times during this week. So, if for each day that you watch the videos, today we're talking about the gut health and depression. We're talking about anxiety tomorrow. And that one is like the evil stepsister of depression, right?
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know if depression could really have an evil stepsister, right? Because depression is kind of
the psycho cousin.
The psycho cousin, right? So that's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow. But it's fantastic information, life-saving information. If you know anybody that struggles with this, it is a real challenge for them. So if you know them, please link them in or put their name into the comments.
Connect them because we'd love to talk to them. Obviously, we're going to be talking a lot about this stuff over the course of this week. Mental health is going to be a big subject. In addition, of course, the talk is where it's all going to come together. So I would highly, highly recommend that you make it to that. But obviously, if you can't make it to the talk, obviously this is a great way of getting some of that information as well.
Absolutely. All right, you guys have an awesome rest of your day. We're going to take off here. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. The winning look for today, sir.
The gut-brain connection. I don't know how can you do that without seeing my gut?
I feel like if I put my head down by
that's going to end badly. We'll just say brain-gut connection.